Good afternoon. My name is Addie Acuff, and I'm going to be doing my presentation on humanism. Humanism was a popular theory that was really popular in the 1960s and then somewhat in the 70s. And at the front of this were two men, Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers. There are other members, but these are the main two that were responsible for bringing this into society. Humanism is based off philosophy. It is not a research theory. It is based off of works such as Plato and other Greek philosophers. It also was very popular during the Renaissance. With this philosophy, the main aspect of it is the natural desires, and most especially the natural desire to learn. Carl Rogers really believed in having fully functioning lives before you can grow as an individual, meaning you had to have all your needs met. I'll explain a little bit more here in a minute. He also really believed in building relationships. He wanted his clients, he was a therapist, he wanted his clients to feel like they were welcome around him, and he really believed in being genuine. He also was a big founder of felicitation, and instead of teaching a person directly, he believed that you could only felicitate your learning. And so he would be the type of teacher to kind of back off and let you learn by yourself. Abraham Maslow was his partner, and he was a therapist as well. He believed that therapy at the time was too therapist client business related, and he really wanted to bring the focus more on normal humans, more on our human desires and needs. And so he created the hierarchy of needs, which is a pyramid where you have to go from the bottom to the top in a hierarchy. So you start with your needs down the bottom, and then you try your hardest to get to the self-actualization mode. And self-actualization is where you're able to have the most creativity and you're able to grow as a person. And first, you have to start down at the very bottom. And the thing about this hierarchy is that you can fall down at any point in time. So you can be at self-actualization, you can be growing yourself, and then you can lose your house and you're stuck way down at the very bottom. So it's a very flexible hierarchy. So it starts down the bottom, and at the bottom we have the physiological and safety needs. Your physiological needs are going to be your shelter, your food, your sleep, and all these types of needs are usually met very easily. Of course, in the world, sadly, there are people that struggle for these needs their whole entire life. But typically, these are met easily. Your second needs are your safety needs. So this includes security and being free from danger, fear, and chaos. It also includes reducing uncertainty and predictability. So you want to provide predictability in order to meet those safety needs. So in the classroom, we can apply both of these needs, as in you want to make sure your students are able to have water and food if they need it. And you want to make sure that they feel comfortable and they feel safe. In order to move on to the next one is love and belonging. And this is when you have your social needs met. You have your family and your friends, and you have good relationships with them. And then you have a personal, intimate relationship maybe. And you feel part of a group. This picture is a great photo in that it shows that everyone wants to feel like they're part of the group. And if you don't have that feeling, you're going to have a feeling of solitude. So when we take this in the classroom, we can think of it as you want to make sure everyone feels involved. So after your physiological, your safety, and your social needs are met, you move on to your esteem needs. And your esteem needs is feeling good about yourself and feeling good about others and feeling good for others. Having the ability to share that confidence with everyone. And if that's not met, you're going to have feelings of inferiority. Finally, we reach the top of the pyramid, self-actualization. The majority of people never make it to be a self-actualized person, meaning a lot of us get to that point where we're self-improving, but we usually fall back down somewhere in the pyramid and have to work our way back up at all times. Carl Maslow studied people who he believed were self-actualized, and he believes that there was only 1% of people who are actually self-actualized. And this is the area where you have most of your creativity, where you have most of your learning, and you can advance further. He also believed that the people who were self-actualized tend to be spontaneous, ethically strong, and non-judgmental people. So we all got to this point at some point in time, but not everyone can keep this up for too long. The major beliefs in humanism include that humans are unique, that we need to build relationships in order to succeed, and that desires and motivations are inwardly driven, that we have the desire to be that self-actualized person, to be that full functioning person, and we have natural desires to keep improving our lives. They also believe that everyone's responsible for their own learning and that you need to take responsibility in that. There's some basic principles of humanism. These include the student will learn best when they learn what they want to learn and what they need to learn. So if I take a class on anything I don't like, I'm not going to be likely to succeed if I really don't want to learn that class. And I don't need to learn that class. And if it's something I really don't like. So again, it's that innerly motivation that's going to promote you to do your best. Another part of this is the self-evaluation. So with having high self-esteem and being at that self-actualized point, you want to be able to self-evaluate yourself. And with humanism, they believe that it's the only meaningful evaluation. So you're evaluating yourself and you're the most important part. You want to believe that you're doing better and you're striving to do better. The other part I want to point out here is number 5, which is students learn best in a non-threatening environment. This means that your safety needs are met. You feel like you have a predictability. You don't feel any uncertainty. You don't feel unsafe. And that's a really big part of humanism. There's some strengths and weaknesses to this theory. The weaknesses include providing students that are self-absorbed, and that comes from just all the self-esteem building, all the individually picking out, all the trying to build your own self-esteem up with them, and sometimes that can lead to people being self-absorbed. It also is a very subjective theory, and that is because there's no research base behind it, and it's something you can't really measure, and the whole theory is based on intuition. So it's very difficult to put into numbers, put into statistics on how this theory works in applying it. However, there are some strengths, and that includes that it really focuses on your needs. It doesn't forget about the fact that we're all human and that we all have needs, physical needs, we have emotional needs, things like that. It really points out that we're people who need things. I guess that sounds needy, but we all need things, and it focuses on that. And then it also provides choice and individuality, and it celebrates uniqueness because it really wants you to go in the natural path that you want to go to. There's some practical classroom applications from humanism, which include providing choices for your students. So if you have a book report and you want to see if you can have students do different ways of doing it, you can provide choices. That way your students can hopefully do better if they have all these different options and they can choose the natural course for them. In addition, you want to have realistic goals, meaning you don't want to burst their self-esteem by having an unrealistic goal and having them not meet it. You want to have group work to meet that love and belonging standard. You want to have your you want to have your objectives align with natural desires, and you want to still fill that facilitator role and the role model role. Meaning, you want to be able to step back from your class and not do all the talking. Let your teachers do the talking, let the students do a little leading, and they will really fall in love with the humanistic approach.